All right, so the Moon Knight series has finally concluded. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Yes, you read the title. Is Moon Knight overrated? Um, I quite enjoy the show. And again, please watch the entire video. I'm going to make this video short and simple, just so that you guys know what I came to conclusion. Now, you guys know prior to Moon Knight, I was hyping up this series. Moon Knight was always that comic book character that I wish always got his own show, movie, whatever. And when I heard the casting of Oscar Isaac, I was like, perfect, let's go with it. And then Ethan Hawke, perfect casting. I didn't actually expect Ethan Hawke to ever do anything comic book related. A lot of people were excited. I know a lot of people love the show. I'm not one of them. I quite enjoy the show. I quite do. But I did not love the show. And by the way, before I go off with my review, you guys let me know in the comment sections what did you think of this show, whether you agree, disagree, whatever it is. Please let me know in the comment sections. And also today I get to go watch Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but let's continue with Moon Knight. Um, the first episode started off really well. You guys saw I did a review for it, and I did promise I was going to do spoiler discussions per episode. I didn't end up doing that. A reason for it is because I honestly didn't care that much about the show. Now, first, I want to give it props before I go into any criticism. I do want to clarify that I do end up like this is a win essentially. It is to me the third best Marvel Disney Plus series. I don't think it's anywhere near the levels WandaVision was at, but I think it was almost as good as Loki. Although I'll admit Loki has like two episodes I don't like, but it is better than Hawkeye. Hawkeye I thought was decent. What If I thought was decent. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I quite enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier, but those series it is better than those shows. But to me, it's not as good as Loki and WandaVision. Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac, of course, stole the show, especially his acting in episode 5. If Oscar Isaac gets nominated for an Emmy, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't, because he was talented. He was amazing. But Ethan Hawke, holy crap, Ethan Hawke was great. Handsome Hawke, of course, he had to bring out a great performance, and he did. Um, I also like the chemistry between Layla and Mark Spector, and Stephen Grant. I always also love that Oscar Isaac, when it's like he convinces you to know that there's two versions of him. There's Stephen Grant and there's Mark Spector, and I love that. And look, as a diehard Moon Knight comic fan, I won't lie to you. This wasn't the Moon Knight show I would have pitched. I would have pitched a more grounded take on the character. But I'm actually glad they went with this whole Egyptian gods vibes, even though I do ultimately prefer the street level kind of fight. But I like this form because we already have a lot of street level heroes. We already have a lot of those kinds. We have Daredevil, Punisher, even had Rorschach in the Watchmen movie. Of course, the Batman just came out. We have a lot of street level stuff. I think it's nice to go into Egyptian gods for once. I think that's pretty cool. But ultimately, I like all of that. Um, and the show was good. I don't think there was a single bad episode. I think every episode was pretty good. Episode 5 was the standout episode. Episode 1 was fantastic, but episode 5 was definitively a standout. Spoiler alert, by the way, in episode 5, when Steven dies, or, well, he doesn't die per se, but he exits a boat. That scene really hit me in the feels. There's also a scene in episode 1 where uh, Steven was supposed to go on a date. He goes on the date. His date doesn't show up, and at first you think, oh, he got stood up. They're supposed to eat steak together, but then you actually find out that they're supposed to do that 2 days ago, and he's the one that actually stood up the date without actually knowing he did. And I loved a lot of those things, but ultimately, uh, I don't know how to explain it. But here's our average audience score, 93%. Then there's the 87% from the critics. It's a lot of people actually quite enjoy this show. A lot of people quite enjoy the show. Um, but here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. This show wasn't what WandaVision was, which is a show that at every 2 a.m. Yes, for me it comes out at 2 a.m. For me, every time 2 a.m. struck, I was looking forward to it. It wasn't even the levels of Peacemaker. Or actually, well, I'm saying that as if I didn't like Peacemaker, but Peacemaker to me is, of course, my favorite comic book series of all time. It that was only two shows or three shows that have done that: WandaVision, Peacemaker, and Loki. Well, I did this for Mandalorian season two. I did it for the first episode, Book of Boba Fett, but that was it. But Loki, I mean, that was more because it was mysterious. But Moon Knight didn't do that for me. In fact, there was a couple of times where a new episode of Moon Knight would drop, and I would literally wait till the afternoon because I didn't care that much. And this show I thought was alright. It didn't do anything too special. It wasn't all that unique. Sure, Ethan Hawke was great, Oscar Isaac was great, and I still overall think this is a win. But to me, it's not this show that I'm so fascinated by. Now, I'm gonna spoil the post-credit scene in episode 6, so keep this in mind. I love that post-credit scene where they do tease Jake Lotley, how he could be the villain of this next, where they're using Jake to kind of be to mess up the balance that Mark and Steven have had, and now be that evil half of them. And I love that. But can I just say one thing I criticize? So, there's some criticisms with Marvel comic book movies where the hero will tend to take off the mask, so you see more of the actor rather than the hero. You could use this with Spider-Man No Way Home, where there's a lot of fight scenes where you see Tom Holland's face, but you don't see him with the mask and all that. And there's always criticisms of that. Uh, I This is the first time I ever have that criticism because I feel like we didn't have enough Moon Knight. I really wish we had more Moon Knight, and I like the way the first episode teased it, where it's like you see all Steven, and then at the end you see Moon Knight eventually show up. Mr. Knight I found funny, um, but I just wish we got a little more action from Moon Knight, and I didn't think the action was particularly all that good. I think it was bland. It was all right. There's a lot of cutaways. I'm not a big fan of cutaways. The action wasn't anything special. I did like when he was getting stabbed, and then like Mr. Knight, like Steven tried to get in on the fight, but then he realized he couldn't, so he just shifted back to Mark Spector. The Moon Knight design and everything looks good, but it just ultimately I wish we had a little more. Uh, Khonshu. Khonshu. I don't really have anything to say besides Khonshu wasn't really all that interesting. Um, when he got locked away, I guess. I mean, the other Egyptian gods had jack shit, nothing to do this entire series, so I didn't really care about the rest of them. But one of, excuse me, I tend to say never go with comic book accuracy, or not to never go, but I just don't care about comic book accuracy. But one thing I was really disappointed in is just that we never really got to see Moon Knight. It felt like we just didn't have that much of Moon Knight doing Moon Knight stuff. And ultimately, I just hope season two, which I don't know if still there is going to be a season two or anything, but obviously we do know it's going to be in, you know what I mean. I just wish Moon Knight was in it more. Is it hard to ask for a show called Moon Knight to have more Moon Knight? You know, I will admit I do like Layla. I didn't think she was a great character. I just thought she was an alright character. I did like her in the final battle. Her suit. It was basically a better version of the Wonder Woman 84 suit. But ultimately, I thought the show was just alright. It was good for what it is, and I don't think I'll ever be rewatching the series because I didn't think the series was all that good. But ultimately, I did enjoy the show. I'm glad that they finally brought Moon Knight to the screens. Something I've always wanted as a kid, to see that comic book character come to life. And we got it. We got it, and I'll say I'm a little disappointed because the show wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't anything unique. It was just kind of bland. But I still overall like it, and I know a lot of people are gonna think that I'm being negative. It's just that I'm not the biggest fan of the show, and ultimately, I wish it would have been better. I wish it was that. Maybe I would have preferred it if it was more street level ish, kind of Batman esque. Maybe, but either way, I was fun with the whole Egyptian god stuff. I like a lot of the stuff that they had. I just wish they did more. I mean, the other gods had nothing to do. They just showed up quick. One of the dumbest scenes in the show. I know, and I like this scene. It's just I think it was pretty dumb. Was when the gods were putting on trial Khonshu and Ahmed and Ethan Hawke. So they tell Ethan Hawke, "Are you trying to resurrect Ahmed?" And he just says no. And they're like, "Okay, I guess they're not." They just quickly were like, "Okay, I guess he said no, so he's not." And then uh, Khonshu, when he tells them that he's trying to resurrect Ahmed, he doesn't explain how. When he has literal evidence, but he doesn't explain how. So it's like it's weird. Like, are the gods just not good at debating? Are they not good at court? I don't know. But overall, I still think the show's a win. Like, I know there's gonna be people saying, Isaac, why didn't you like it? Because I remember the one time I said on one of my live streams that I didn't really enjoy the show that much. Everyone thought I hated it. No, I don't hate it. I like the show. I think it's better than Hawkeye. And I thought Hawkeye was alright. But that to me is not good enough. I was really expecting WandaVision tier. Especially I don't know. I'm just maybe I shouldn't have expected it. Maybe I shouldn't have, because to me WandaVision was just that good. I know a lot of you guys. I know now is the cool thing to say that WandaVision isn't out all that good and all that. I know I've seen that, but to me, I literally started re-binging WandaVision a couple weeks ago, and it was freaking fantastic. And I just wish Moon Knight was up to that level, but to me it just wasn't that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.